deadly attack. A gunman opening fire on a family's football watch party in California, killing at least 4 people, injuring 6. The manhunt right now.
Blockbuster week in the impeachment showdown. Ambassador Gordon Sondland, the man at the center of the Ukraine firestorm, several phone calls with President Trump, set to testify. And the shakeup in the race for 2020, the new poll showing Mayor Pete surging to the top of the pack in Iowa.
Coastal chaos, a dangerous storm on the move, sparking accidents across the east. This tractor trailer colliding with the bus, splitting in 2. And heavy storm surge battering the Carolina coast. Now the winter weather advisory underway.
Fierce fallout after Prince Andrew breaks his silence, saying he does not regret his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Even questioning if this picture with one of Epstein's accusers is real.
An ABC News exclusive, the new footage showing the race against time to save an 8-year-old snatched from her mom in broad daylight. The dramatic moment police break through the door, saving the little girl's life.
Got her. We got her.
First on GMA this morning.
And preaching pair, Kanye West, Joel Osteen, and their mega church mega spectacle. What they told our reporter about it all right here on GMA.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America. Hope you all had a great weekend. Mega spectacle is right.
Yeah, some new music too. Kanye West and Joel Osteen putting on a powerhouse service to a packed house. The tickets for the free event were gone in just 7 minutes.
We'll have much more on that ahead, but first we're going to begin with that breaking news. A manhunt underway in Fresno, California for a gunman who opened fire on a family party, breaking into their backyard, killing at least 4, injuring 6 others. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. And to try to get a bead on that killer, authorities have been going door to door looking for eyewitnesses or even surveillance video that could give them a description of the suspect or the possible getaway vehicle. Now, one thing police say they do know that whomever sprayed bullets into that backyard full of people just watching football very likely targeted their victims.
Up to 45 people, including women and children, were gathered at this home in Fresno for a Sunday night football party when a gunman approached on foot, burst into the backyard, and opened fire.
All units are responding and advise them they may be having multiple victims coming.
EMS up to the back.
Officers came in and they saw 3 people that were down immediately. They were all Asian males between 25 and 30.
4 men killed, 6 others in the hospital.
We're going to need more EMS ambulances out here. 1 more en route.
All citywide first responders called to the scene.
Thank God that no kids were hurt because there were several kids and females that were in attendance at this party.
The ATF announcing it will send agents to assist in the investigation.
Now, George, this is the 3rd mass casualty shooting in California just since Thursday. None of these shootings are related, and police don't yet know what kind of weapon was used in this Fresno attack. But we do know that several of the surviving gunshot victims are still in critical condition. George.
What a tragedy. Okay, Matt, thanks very much. We're going to go to Washington now for the latest on impeachment. Big week of public hearings ahead. 8 witnesses set to testify, including Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the top Ukraine expert at the National Security Council. He sounded the alarm inside the White House after listening in on President Trump's July 25th phone call with the Ukrainian president. Also testifying tomorrow, Kurt Volker, the former U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, and on Wednesday, Ambassador Gordon Sondland, the witness who had the most direct contact with President Trump during the pressure campaign on Ukraine. And on Thursday, Fiona Hill, who is the top White House official dealing with Russia, she's going to round out the week. And all this comes after new closed-door testimony this weekend that ties President Trump more directly to the push for political investigations from Ukraine. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran is on Capitol Hill with the latest. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. Investigators, as you say, worked through much of the weekend, taking more testimony, sworn testimony behind closed doors. Republicans have been saying that the witnesses so far that the public has heard don't tie for the president directly. They aren't talking about what the president said or did directly. This week, that will change.
This week, the impeachment hearings zero in on a crucial witness, the middleman, U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, who could provide explosive public testimony. Sondland is a direct link between the shadow campaign to pressure Ukraine into conducting politically charged investigations and President Trump himself. A new witness has now come forward and claimed under oath that Sondland, a Trump megadonor, took his orders directly from the president.
Mr. Sondland has to decide whether his primary loyalty is to America or whether his primary loyalty is to the President of the United States.
In testimony released this weekend, former NSC staff member Tim Morrison put Sondland right at the center of the alleged effort to pressure Ukraine to investigate the president's political rivals, including Joe Biden, using nearly $400 million in military aid as leverage. Morrison testified behind closed doors that Trump and Sondland spoke approximately 5 times on the phone while that vital military aid was on hold. David Holmes, a top staffer in the U.S. Embassy in Kiev, Ukraine, testified behind closed doors on Friday that he and others overheard one phone call in which Trump asked Sondland for an update. Holmes testified that after that call, Sondland said the president didn't give an expletive about Ukraine and only cared about big stuff, like the Biden investigation that Mr. Giuliani was pushing. Republicans arguing that Democrats are still grasping at straws.
I think the Democrats know they're in trouble on this, which is why we keep moving the goalposts.
That's the argument. The investigation keeps moving the goalposts, but the investigation also keeps moving closer and closer towards the White House. That's what we'll hear this week inside the White House, testimony about what the president said and did. George?
Right. And Terry, and that's why, as you pointed out, Ambassador Sondland really the key witness this week on Wednesday morning. Testimony over the weekend that he had at least 5 phone calls with President Trump, and he had said in his previous testimony that he didn't know these investigations were about the Bidens. One of the big questions is he going to have to revise that testimony?
Well, George, he has already had to go back and correct his closed-door testimony. There are a lot of I don't recalls, and now there are witnesses who heard him talk about, they say, the Bidens and the president's demands for the Ukraine to investigate them. He is on the hot seat, no question about it.
And meantime, we got a new poll come that's out just right now that's showing that 70% of the public believes what the president did with Ukraine was wrong. A slim majority, 51%, say that they will now support impeaching and removing President Trump from office. But one of the big questions going forward is going to be, will these hearings make a difference? Will they change people's minds about impeachment right now?
Well, our poll also shows that 21% of Americans have made up their minds after the first week of testimony. That suggests that they were already locked in, or that really the testimony they've heard is enough. But that's a big percentage who still have to make up their minds. And 70% saying the president did something wrong. The president keeps saying the call was perfect. He did nothing wrong. Our poll suggests that may go down in history along with I did not have sex with that woman as a very ineffective presidential defense.
Hallmark of another impeachment. Okay, Terry, thanks very much. You'll be joining us for our coverage of the House impeachment hearings tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. It starts every day at 9 Eastern. Robin?
And George, now overseas to the most dangerous clashes yet, erupting in Hong Kong. Schools across the territory are closed this morning as police and pro-democracy protesters battle. Ian Pannell is there in Hong Kong with the latest. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. That's right. 500 protesters are still holed up inside Hong Kong's Polytechnic University, some as young as 14, after a weekend of intense and violent clashes. What I think has been the worst civil disorder we've seen so far in this protest movement. Overnight, the battle at Hong Kong Polytechnic University erupting in violence as police and demonstrators clash again. This is now the most sustained and violent battle we've seen here.
Once again, they're firing rubber bullets in, water cannons come. It's a really fierce pitched battle.
The protesters want more freedom from China, but it's descended into pitched street battles.
Just insane scenes here. You can see the amount of bricks, Molotov cocktails and explosive devices being thrown at the police.
Demonstrators armed with slingshots catapulting rocks towards police. Another wielding a bow and arrow, striking an officer in the leg. One armoured vehicle engulfed in flames as it tried to ram the front line. The entrance to the university smouldering from the battles fought here, as tired and desperate activists are surrounded by police and low on supplies.
We obviously need help from outside, but I don't know who we're going to get that help from.
Some make a desperate run for it.
They're the murderer! You see the sky's going, they're murderers. The police are trying to attack, and some of the students here are literally climbing over barbed wire, trying to escape.
The authorities say they'll arrest everyone inside the college, their comrades elsewhere, now trying to draw the police away with violence so the students may have a chance to escape. Guys, the situation inside there is really desperate. We saw some tearful students making desperate phone calls to anxious parents, but the police arresting anyone who tries to escape, and attempts to negotiate a peaceful settlement have so far fallen flat. George?
What a dangerous situation. Okay, Ian, thanks very much. We're going to move on now to that big shakeup in the race for the White House. Mayor Pete Buttigieg surging to a clear lead in the key state of Iowa, nearly 10 points ahead of Elizabeth Warren. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders right behind. Lindsay Davis is in Brooklyn, where the billionaire former mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, took a big step toward his expected White House bid just yesterday. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning to you, George. That's right. Bloomberg stood before the predominantly black megachurch, the Congregation, here yesterday and apologized. The former New York City mayor and potential presidential candidate said that of his longstanding policy stop and frisk, which disproportionately targeted blacks and Latinos, he says that he got it wrong. But meantime, it's another mayor who's surging in the polls. This morning, a major shakeup in the race for president as Mayor Pete Buttigieg skyrockets to the top in Iowa.
I'm not like the others, and what I'm putting forward is simply a different approach.
Buttigieg claiming a significant lead over Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and former Vice President Joe Biden, rising 16 points in just 2 months and leading second-place Warren by 9 points, according to that new CNN Des Moines Register poll. But he says there's still a lot of work to do.
We're not getting carried away by a poll result.
The already crowded field could be expanding as former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg considers a bid for the White House. He has previously ridiculed his potential rivals for over-apologizing.
Joe Biden went out and apologized for being male, over 50, white, Beto, whatever his name is. He's apologized for being born.
Bloomberg is now apologizing for his past. In a speech at a predominantly black church in Brooklyn, he admitted his controversial stop and frisk policy, which he supported for years, was a mistake.
I didn't understand that back then, the full impact that stops were having on the black and Latino communities. I want you to know that I realized back then I was wrong, and I'm sorry.
In 2011, while Bloomberg was mayor here, 87% of those who were stopped were black and Latino. Now, just yesterday, Mayor Bloomberg said that he realizes that policy caused an erosion of trust, and he hopes to earn it back. George.
Okay, Lindsay Davis, thanks very much. We'll be watching this week. Robin?
And George, now the latest on Colin Kaepernick holding a workout, attempting to get back into the NFL, but then changing the location at the last minute. TJ Holmes is here with more on all this.
You all know that Kaepernick and the NFL have been at odds, even in court, the past 3 years after he started taking a knee to protest racial inequality during the national anthem. Okay, so he's saying the league colluded to keep him out of the league. Well, that mistrust has now possibly led to a missed opportunity. The league organized a workout for him. He didn't show up, wanted to do it on his terms.
Colin Kaepernick finally getting the chance to show he still got it and that he belongs in the NFL. But his highly anticipated NFL organized tryout didn't go as planned.
I've been ready for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years. We all know why I came out here, showed it today in front of everybody.
Kaepernick was scheduled to complete a closed workout Saturday in front of 25 NFL teams in Atlanta. But just half an hour before the workout was scheduled to start, Kaepernick pulled out, announcing he was moving the event to a high school 60 miles away. Kaepernick's camp claimed the NFL refused to have the workout open to the media and allow Kaepernick's own camera crew to film the event.
Our biggest thing with everything today was making sure we had transparency in what went on. We weren't getting that elsewhere. So we came out here.
I suspect that what would have happened is they would have spun it as, or released whatever they would have wanted to cherry pick whatever footage. This was a publicity stunt on the part of the NFL, and we called their bluff.
Representatives from only 8 teams made the sudden trek and watched the quarterback run drills for 40 minutes. But the sudden change may not have sat well with the league.
Frankly, I think it angered the NFL. But Colin Kaepernick was not going to cooperate with a body, an entity that hadn't cooperated with him.
Now, so much of the conversation over the past several years about his talent. He showed once again he is an elite level quarterback. It was just 6-7 years ago. Yeah. He was in a Super Bowl. Exactly. Okay, but still the mistrust is there. It was on display again yesterday. Was the league sincere in planning it on a Saturday? Was he sincere in really showing up, or did he just want to make a statement? Either way you look at it, it's unfortunate that the mistrust once again on display.
8 teams showed up. Any chance he's going to get an offer?
The experts, our guys at ESPN, all those analysts will say probably not. Because not just about his talent, it was a matter of, do you want to bring this guy in with the controversy? He didn't show necessary. We're talking about the controversy again today instead of his talent.
Right. All right,
Wow.
Thanks, TJ.
You got it again.
Well, now to that unlikely preaching pair, Kanye West and Joel Osteen teaming up for a special Sunday service at Osteen's megachurch. Kanye making a big statement as he promotes his new gospel album. Marcus Morris spoke with both of them in Houston. He joins us now. Good morning, Marcus.
Hey, Amy, good morning. It was really interesting to talk to both of them about their new relationship, and the free concert last night here at the church was a huge event. Tickets to the event were gone in just minutes. Overnight, Kanye West completing the second part of his Sunday service at Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church with this riveting performance. Earlier in the day, West uniting with the popular pastor to share faith and music.
Come on, let's welcome Mr. Kanye West today.
The famed pair welcomed more than 15,000 ticket holders as West spoke about his renewed journey towards Christianity.
All of that arrogance and confidence and cockiness that y'all seen me use before, God is now using for him.
His wife, reality star Kim Kardashian, watching from the audience. 42-year-old also addressing his reported mental health issues.
God was there with me and sending me visions and inspiring me.
I caught up with the rapper and televangelist pastor to learn how this unlikely pair came to be.
Some people would be surprised by the combination. Would not have expected this.
I know. I watched Kanye's journey as he began to, turn toward the Lord, and he reaches people that we will never reach in the church world.
No more living for the culture, we nobody's slave.
And I asked Kanye how he's going to reach people who are skeptical about his new direction. He seems undeterred and simply said, it's up to God. Guys.
All right, that's his answer. Marcus Moore, thanks so much.
Thank you. We are following a lot of other stories this morning. Coming up next, the enormous fallout over Prince Andrew's interview about his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
And the dramatic rescue. Remember this kidnapping that was caught on camera? An 8-year-old girl taken from her mother in broad daylight. Now the heart-stopping moment. Police finally find and save her. It's an ABC News exclusive. But first, let's go back to Rob.
Hey, Robin, this is a storm that's been banging the mid-Atlantic coastline all weekend long. Buxton, North Carolina, winds there over 60 miles per hour, flooding as well. Just inland, we have temperatures sub-freezing. I-64 shut down because of freezing rain, and that's our big concern today. And we move that north with some sub-freezing temperatures across parts of the Northeast, especially interior northern and parts of New England. The AR is showing exactly how those northeast winds, draining some of that cold air down into some of the big cities like Hartford. Flood advisories out, could see 10 to 14-foot waves along the coastline. But the slick travel is going to be in some of those roadways this morning and then again tonight, overnight tonight and tomorrow. Not a whole lot of accumulation, but just enough of a glaze to make things a little bit dangerous. So if you are driving in these areas over the next 24 hours, do be careful. Time for your Select Cities now, brought to you by CarMax.
If there's going to be a sticker on your car, it has to mean something. That you got into college or crossed the finish line. Eventually.
What?
That you went someplace worth going. Or maybe you have opinions. But if it's on there, it has to mean something. So we make sure this means something. That we've done everything to make your shopping, test driving, and car buying experience the way it should be. CarMax.
Well, happy Monday, and get ready for a gentler, easier week for us. We're not going to be shivering nearly as much as we were last week. Temperatures today will top out at 48 degrees. They're starting out in the mid to upper 30s most neighborhoods. Some morning drizzle followed by showers, but after about 5 or 6 p.m., it's rain mainly late evening and then exiting out by midnight. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, the high 54, mid 50s on Thursday with more sunshine, close to 60 degrees on Friday with showers for the Montgomery Parade.
Busy Monday morning. We'll be right back.
Mr. Jewell, I've got a few questions.
I was just doing my job.
So you have no idea who might have put that package there?
No, sir.
Did you plan